Hello children, I am your English teacher Sujata. I hope all of you are following the rules of the lockdown and are safe and healthy at home. This is your new Broadway literature book and today we are going to start our first lesson. The name of the lesson is Thelma Ray, written by Tisha Coiner. Let us start the lesson with author's introduction. She is the author of the lesson Tisha Coiner. Tisha Coiner is an American writer also known as Tisha Ray Coiner Kennedy. She was born on November 10, 1962 in Medford, Oregon State. She is currently heading a firm called Creative Paperworks. Her close associates include Devon Kennedy and Christine Harris. She has several public profiles on social media network by the name Tisha Flint. She has written a book, A Cup of Comfort for Friends, which is published by Adams Media Publication. Characters of the lesson are Thelma Ray, Tisha Coiner's husband, Tessa Ray and her brother, who is the author's children. Common interests shared by narrator and Thelma Ray: Oregon coast, Simpson Beach, writing, music, reading, Chinese food. Thelma Ray. Thomas Jefferson, former American president, said, "Friendship is precious not only in the shade but in the sunshine of life. If you stop and think, you will realize that having true friends is indeed a blessing. Think about your parents. Can your mother or father also be your best friend?" Here the American president is telling that friendship is very precious, not only in the difficult times of the life but also in the good times of life. If you think, you will realize that having true friends is a blessing. Now think about your parents. Can your mother or your father also be your best friend? Thelma caught my attention with a wave of her arm from the beach just below me. Blue jeans rolled up to her knees. She sat with her bare toes digging into the warm sand as she worked. Her curly hair, having fallen victim to the coastal wind, whipped across her face. At 36 years old, she looked as much a teenager as I did, and even with the 18-year age difference between us, she had long been my best friend. Waving again, the tablet fell from her lap as she motioned me to join her. Here Thelma is sitting near the seacoast on the beach and she is waving her arm to the woman coming to her. Her blue jeans were rolled up to her knees and she is sitting digging into the warm sand with her bare feet. Then her curly hair, as she was sitting near the ocean or sea, is blowing on her face because of the coastal wind. The woman was 36 years old, but she looked as a teenager. Teenager means the age between 13 to 19. And even they had 18 years difference, but they were best friends. And Thelma Ray once again waved and her tablet fell from her lap. A strange way to spend an afternoon for some. For us, it had become almost a tradition. Thelma and I shared love for writing, and Simpson Beach was an inspirational place to work. We would each bring our tablets and find a comfortable seat, then sitting apart to avoid the temptation to chat instead of work. We worked separately, yet in unison, as the waves crashed and the seagulls sang around us. Offshore in the sea, a large wolf-shaped rock watched over the scene. Wise old Timmons, Thelma called him. The meanings of the words: tradition, something you do often; inspirational place, a place which encouraged them to work in unison, working together; ledge. Then temptation, a feeling or desire to do something. Here you may find that it is a strange thing to spend an afternoon on the beach, but it had become a tradition, means something they will do always for the narrator and Thelma. Both of them shared the love for writing, so they found Simpson Beach an inspirational place to write. Then each bought their tablets and find a comfortable seat on the beach, and then to avoid the temptation, means if they sit together they might start talking and stop writing, so they would sit separately, but they were together on the beach and started to work. Even the animals on the sea also sang around them. Off the shore there was a big rock and it used to watch over the scene. and the name of that rock, as Thelma called, is Wise Old Timmins. I climbed down the ledge 10 feet up the base of a sandstone cliff, where I had been nestled with my tablet. Work time was obviously over. Now it was time to play. I joined Thelma in the warm sand. Our tablets were soon forgotten as we ran along the water's edge, splashing in the waves. Like two kids, we threw pieces of driftwood into the surf and waited for them to come back. Then we headed off to visit the tide pools, located at the edge of the rock cliffs on the south side of the beach. Thelma loved to gently poke the tiny sea anemones with her finger, meaning a ledge, a narrow flat piece of rock that sticks out from a cliff. Nestled, sat comfortably. Tide pools, small amounts of water that collect between the rocks by the sea. Sea anemones, simply brightly colored sea creatures that stick onto the rocks and look like flowers. Here, when the time for writing is over, then they used to play there on the sea coast after completing their work with their tablet. Then where the old woman was sitting, this young woman also joined there on the warm sand. Then they forgot their tablets and started to play with the water and the splashing waves. Like two children, they threw the pieces of driftwood. Driftwood means the pieces of wood which will float on the sea if you throw them into the water. When you have thrown them into the water, when the waves come back, the pieces of wood also used to come back with the waves. This they used to watch. Then after that, they visited the tide pools. These were located at the rock cliffs. Then there were sea anemones, small colorful creatures with which Thelma used to play. I seldom dared to touch them, but it was fun to watch them suck their long sticky tentacles into the soft wad of color attached to the rock. Sometimes we also found starfish and tiny crabs, which we would hold for a moment before releasing them to return to their pools. Every visit to Simpson Beach was full of new discoveries and is always an afternoon well spent. But the author did not want to touch the sea anemones, but she would like to see their long sticky tentacles. Then tentacles are the arms of the creatures of the sea. Then sometimes they will find starfishes, tiny crabs, which they will hold with their hands for some moment and afterwards release them back into the water. Every time whenever they visited Simpson Beach, they will find new discoveries there and they find that afternoon was well spent. There were also many nights that we sat up until dawn just talking. It was no wonder we are best friends. We had so much in common, an affinity for Chinese food and soft music, the Oregon coast, and of course writing. Sometimes during our long talks, Thelma would get philosophical and offer advice about life. She taught me that every now and then grown-ups do say things worth listening to. It is better to have it and not need it than to need it and not to have it, she often said. It was just one of countless axioms she was fond of. Meanings: tentacles, long thin parts of the animals, used for feeling or holding things. Affinity for, a liking for means they like that. Philosophical, serious. Axioms, rules that most people believe to be true. Then after that, this time they are in the nights at their home. So when they used to talk the whole night until dawn, means until morning. Just talking, they used to spend the nights because they were best friends and they had so much in common. They liked, affinity for means they liked Chinese food, they liked soft music, the Oregon coast, and writing also. And after some time when they talking for the whole night, sometimes Thelma used to give advices to the narrator. She taught me how to do how to do the things, what grown up people do, and all the things she used to give advice about her. One of the advice she has given is, it is better to have it and not need it than to need it and not to have it. This means that something if you don't need also, it is better to have it. But when you need something and you don't have it, you will be in trouble. I don't know whether she made the little phrases up or she read them somewhere, but even today they echo through my mind at just the right moments. And these all phrases, the narrator doesn't know that whether she made up herself or she has read somewhere, but even today she will remember all those advices. When I was old enough to get to know the boys, she told me there are two things to remember when searching for that soulmate. The first was to judge a man's character, watch him around children and dogs. If he takes the time to show them affection, he will do the same for you. It seemed silly back then, but it also made sense. Second, she said, you will never find a perfect man, so find one with faults you can deal with. Here the meanings: soulmate, a person that you have a special friendship with. Here is husband. Then she told that when the narrator was old enough to get married or no boys, she told two things how to search the soulmate or the husband. The first one was man's character. If you want to judge a man's character, see him when he is with children and dogs. If he take care of them nicely, he plays with them, and he will do the same for the narrator. But for the narrator, it seemed very silly. The second one is, you will never find a perfect man. You cannot find a man without any fault. She advised the narrator to find a man with faults she can deal with. I wondered at the time if she never thought of looking for her soulmate. Years before, she had lost her husband of 10 years in a logging accident. She has been single ever since. Thelma's husband has died 10 years ago in a logging accident. Logging accident means when the trees will be cutting down for firewood or anything, that is called the logging. So in a logging accident, the husband of Thelma Ray died, but she never thought of looking for another soulmate. I finally met the right person. At the age of 25, I got married. Though the time that Thelma and I spent together lessened, we always stayed close. Early in my marriage, I had a daughter, and Thelma was with her in the delivery room. I named her Tessa Ray, giving her Thelma's middle name. I will never forget Thelma's beaming face as she repeated the baby's name over and over again. After that, when the narrator was 25 years old, she got the right person to get married, and she got married with the person. And after getting married, Thelma and the narrator's time together lessened because she has to spend time with another house with her husband. So the time lessened, but they were always close together. Then she got a daughter, and Thelma was there in the delivery room. The name of that girl, newly born girl, was Tessa Ray, and giving the middle name of Thelma Ray to the girl. And as she thought that the girl had my name, she was repeating the baby's name again and again with a happy face. Things got harder after that. My husband accepted a job 3 hours away, and we had to move. Thelma's health had been poor for a while, and I wondered about her daily. I worried about her daily, but we faithfully stayed in touch. I tried to coax her into moving closer, but she resisted. Then one day she called me at work from the hospital. Next, the problem started. Means the narrator's husband got a job 3 hours away. Means it has to drive for 3 hours to go to office. So the narrator and her husband moved to that place. But Thelma did not go with her. Even though the narrator asked her to join them, she rejected and she did not go there. Then after that, Thelma's health also began to become poor. Then the narrator has to worry about her health. One day, the narrator got a call from the hospital from Thelma Ray. It was cancer terminal because they hadn't caught it in time. The phone nearly dropped to the bakery floor as I fumbled in shock to keep it to my ear. Those words thundering through my head. Terminal cancer means it cannot be cured and lead to death. Fumbled here, find it difficult to talk. When the call from the hospital was there, she was very worried about the health of Thelma, so she could not even speak, and her phone almost fumbled into the bakery floor. On my way, I heard myself whispering. Then she said, I am on my way, I am coming. Can you bring some of those lemon-filled donuts? She answered, picturing her dancing blue eyes pleading. I almost smiled. Then from the other side, Thelma asked the narrator to bring some lemon-filled donuts. Even though they were talking in the phone, the narrator could imagine her blue eyes dancing in joy. The hospital was quiet when I arrived that evening, but Thelma's room was full of beeps, buzzers, and strange faces. I put on a brave face as I walked into her room. There was Thelma, her usual vibrant self, sitting high in the bed and teasing the nurses. Next thing I knew was she was lecturing me about keeping positive. Then the narrator went into the hospital. All the hospital was quiet, but in Thelma's room there were beeps, buzzers, and strange faces. Beeps means the machines were working, and buzzers means they were giving all kinds of sound looking at the health condition of the Thelma. Then all the strange faces means all different doctors, nurses, and all strange people were there in the room. But the narrator did not cry or did not become covered, but she put on a brave face as she walked into her room because she don't want Thelma to get disheartened. But Thelma was on the bed full of life and energy. She was sitting high in the bed, as you can see in the picture, and teasing the nurses. And after that, when the narrator came there, she started lecturing about keeping positive to narrator. The cancer traveled quickly from her lymph nodes to her bones and then into brain. I held her hand daily, watching her fade slowly. My brilliant, articulate Thelma could barely speak. Now lymph node means small swellings in the tissue of white blood cells. There she got the cancer. First she got the cancer in the lymph nodes, then it went into the bones, and after that into her brain. Daily narrator used to sit with the mother, and there she used to see her dying slowly, and she was speaking that once my mother was very active and speaking nicely, now she could barely speak. During her last visit she couldn't say much, but I know I saw a smile when I sat Tessare on my friend's tummy in the hospital bed. Thelma weakly lifted both hands to play patty cake one last time. Then I retold old stories of Simpson Beach to eyes so blue, now so hollow. Then in the last visit, when the narrator went to Thelma's room in the hospital, she made her little daughter sit on the tummy of the Thelma Ray. Then Thelma Ray lifted her hands to play patty cake, with the game small kids will play with the hands for the last time. Then the narrator started telling all the stories, old stories, how they would spend on the Simpson Beach and all that. First, Thelma Ray eyes used to be so blue. Now they are very hollow because she is suffering from cancer. Now I embrace those memories. I pass stories along with the words of wisdom, my friend's legacy, to Tessa and her brothers. I also try to write regularly and to eat Chinese food and visit the Oregon coast as often as I can. You see, Thelma was extra special. Not only she was my best friend, but she was also my mom. Here meanings: embrace, hold someone closely in your arms as a sign of love. Then legacy, something that is given to you by somebody when they die. Here the narrator used to tell all the stories about Thelma Ray to her daughter and sons. And at last she will tell that she was not only my best friend, she was my mother also, who was extra special. This lesson is written by Tisha Koiner. Here we end our lesson. Thank you children. Keep learning. Stay safe.